First on the agenda is public participation. Mr. Moss has asked to speak. If you come forward. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for having me back. So I wanted to just come represent the over 120 residents of Shrewsbury that have signed a petition that they would like natural turf, organically managed natural turf, to reduce the toxic exposure to the kids and to look into that option rather than artificial turf. Just to bring some of our concerns forward, and just a note too is that we were at about 100, about to 120 as the petition keeps growing. Martha's Vineyard is actually in the same situation as us. So Martha's Vineyard, they're trying to put, Gale Associates is putting that synthetic turf fields down there. They're actually doing an organic cork-based, but they have up to 800 signatures down there that they're trying to oppose. So they're still opposing even an organic-based infill because there are so many issues with artificial turf beyond crumb rubber. So just to make a note of that this is something that I think, is going to, as people learn about it, will be coming forward. But just to give, to help us through some of this and bring some of these concerns forward. So I wanted to say, first of all, to the Turf Committee, thank you. They've done a lot of research on synthetic turf. So we know we have the binder with about 500 pages, right, that we've all reviewed. And just to make a note of that, so this is pretty much representing synthetic turf, right? This is the amount of research that's been done on synthetic turf, basically. But I wanted to bring up the attention of natural turf. So what have we looked into? If we're looking at all options, I know some of it was on that motion, was to say we're going to continually look at new infills or new materials. But one thing I think that we have looking at us right now is natural turf, right, or organic, managed natural turf as an option that we have many residents, many families in Shrewsbury that are looking to the school committee to look at that option for us. If I look through the materials, I find maybe two slides that kind of deal with natural turf. So we're kind of comparing to 440 to 2, saying a root system's a root system. A root zone is a root zone was one of the comments made last time. So, but I think it's something that we would like to see investigated more because we want to look at all our options, making sure we're making the right decision. And if we have all the information and they've done their due diligence on synthetic turf, can we have the Turf Committee look at natural turf and actually get some of this great information they got on synthetic turf? I thought that was great. We have all the material data safety sheets for all the materials that are going to be put out there on the turf field. So I thought it would be something that maybe we could request to say, let's look at this option. We have people in town wanting to see more about that. One of the things that's been brought up about, well, we don't really need to look into natural turf because it won't meet our needs. So I was kind of looking through all this information for, okay, what are our needs? What's our, I was a project manager for many years. We want to look at the requirements, right? So we want to look back when the project's finished and say we met our requirements. When I looked through that, I, again, only found a couple of slides that deal with the actual need. So I was kind of hoping that this would be something, it's not going to take, I wouldn't expect a lot of time. Maybe they have this information, but maybe the public doesn't have it, right? So we'd want to look at what's the baseline of usage, right? Maybe a chart that says football, month by month, how many games, how many practices they're doing today. Because I know there's up to, I think, less than 100 uses of the field. Like I mentioned last time, natural grass, well-maintained, can do 300 uses. That's 3 times the amount that we're getting today just with natural turf. So maybe we find out that if we pull that information and get that baseline, that natural turf, well, there's 300 uses. Maybe there's 200 uses that we want to have with football and soccer. Maybe if we add lacrosse and field hockey in, maybe we get 350. And so maybe natural turf is a good option to look at because it's meeting the needs that we have. Then there might be the nice to haves or the wants, right? So as synthetic turf kind of looks good because it's going to give you like 750 uses per year. But are we really just going beyond our needs to get all of those uses, 400 uses, to get the money to then pay for the field to get us what we would have gotten with natural turf? We're really looking to see why not look at those options. I know when I go to a lot of different meetings, we want to have those options on the table for us. So I just we're requesting that the school committee go back. We have some time now. I know we've said we're supportive of the goals, the fundraising. UMass Lowell, the Toxic Use Reduction Institute has said that organically managed natural grass fields is the lowest cost option, the safest option. Now, there is some, extended use, but I think if we get the extended use details, it's going to allay some concerns. And also, if we have experts in the state on organic management. Springfield is now, I'm not sure about their high school fields, but they're playing fields, and they're trying to go all organic in the city of Springfield for all their recreational fields. So maybe we have some expert in Natick, I think, is starting down that road. So can we look at what they're doing in Marblehead? Even though they have synthetic turf, they have some of the experts in the nation that are doing organic. And I just wanted to hand out quickly something I think is really important, which is this is the Shrewsbury, if you could pass this around. Sure. Shrewsbury Aquifer Protection Overlay District. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find that where our wells sit is right where the field's going to go. The field is right up from the wells. If you looked at the Board of Selectmen meeting last night, there was a lot of concerns brought up that on the other side, there were companies that used hexavalent chromium, made famous by Aaron Brockovich's movie, and that could be a source of a problem in our wells. So what we put at the high school directly affects our town and the drinking water. What we spray on the fields as far as disinfectants, what it contained. Are there flame retardants? We know there's a huge problem with flame retardants. Are they in there? As those migrate out into the environment. And you'll notice that the fields are in zone 3, so our wells have are drilled right down from the high school, and there's a zone 1 400-foot protection zone. Then there's a zone 2, which is the secondary recharge. So as they pump out zone 1, the zone 2 water flows into zone 1. The high school is in zone 3, so as that zone 2 comes down, zone 3 recharges zone 2, and then so forth, that goes into our. So whatever we put on those fields, or wherever we put at that high school, we're going to end up drinking later on. So we really should be looking at what we're going to put up there. Just as an example, I brought a little prop with me. But we went to the Auburn fields and played soccer with my daughter. Auburn has a synthetic turf field. I think they've replaced it recently. My son was playing on the sidelines. This is several years ago. And down the bottom here, I mean, my wife told me she's washed this jacket I don't know how many times, picked all the grass out of it. There's still all the synthetic turf, and we could pick these out of here. There's these little grass blades. As those wear down into things you can't see, so these are the things we can see are migrating into our environment. So a town that's passed a plastic bag ban, is looking to reduce plastic. They're showing plastic bags in the trees. Well, this is making it into the environment. This is what we can see, but as this breaks down, this is also migrating into the environment. So when they use lead as a pigment fixative for the green grass, that could end up in there. Flame retardants, it's going to end up into our environment and down into the well zone. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that this is really something that is a hot topic in town about the water, protecting our watershed. Even the zoning bylaws talk about this zone 3, and you might need a special permit. It talks about even de-icing chemicals, which that's proposed for synthetic turf fields. If you want to use it, you have to use de-icing material chemicals. Can you pour that on here? But the purpose of the Aquifer Protection Overlay District is to promote and protect the public health, safety, and welfare by protecting aquifers and recharge areas serving an existing or potential public water supply from contamination. So I think that we really should focus in on that. And lastly, the 440 pages, the comment was, these have been provided to you with the results of independent laboratories and environmental consulting agencies who have determined that the products are safe for the environment and athletes. We better make sure that's not the EPA saying that. Nobody's saying they're safe. There's some independent saying they're safe, but they might be saying they're not concerned, but we are concerned. So I hope you take some of those suggestions and provide us some of these due diligence options on natural grass usage, and also maybe its effect on the aquifer. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to make it clear, we're not doing this in a vacuum. We're listening to all sides. We're looking at all information. We did vote last week to move forward with the EnviroFill as the infill product. As we said, we will continue to assess if anything new comes, but we are not doing this in a vacuum. We are looking at it from all corners. So thank you.
Great. Thanks. We appreciate it.
Okay, next.